Today, we're at the University High School Gymnasium for the 2013 Heart of Texas Best Robotics Competition. 20 schools are competing here today to decide which school has the best robot in this Rock'em Sock'em Robotics Competition. These schools started with basically a box of junk, and in 6 weeks' time, they have assembled a robot that can do various tasks that you see along this course here. We're going to find out how they've done this and what this competition is all about. Has got two teams competing here today, University High School being one of those teams, and today I'm joined by Dennis Oob, an engineering teacher at University High School. Mr. Oob, I see your robot here on the table. Does it have a name?
Yes, it's called Maximus Gate Crasher.
Maximus Gate Crasher. Okay, so tell us how you're doing so far in the competition today.
Well, at least we have some points on the board, so we're doing about the same as we did last year. So the kids are doing great. I mean, they're handling everything well. They're learning as they go.
Okay, when you say points on the board, tell us how you get points on the board. What are you required to do?
They're trying to build computers using components, and what they're trying to do is put transistors together so that they can build the next object on the board, which is a processing unit. And at the end, they'll have a computer if they did everything correctly. And right now, we're just having trouble getting the transistors in.
Okay, so you're going to have to explain trouble getting transistors in. What does that mean exactly?
The robot arm is not like grabbing the way it's supposed to. The kids are struggling trying to get the robot to work correctly.
Okay, I knew there would be a simpler answer for that. The robot arm is not grabbing the way it's supposed to.
Right.
Okay, well that's probably simple stuff for your students. Your students are learning a lot of complex science and engineering information.
They're learning a lot of soft skills also, how to meet deadlines, how to come together as a team and, you know, meet hard deadlines.
Yeah, and as a teacher, I'm sure that this is a great way to get students involved and engaged in science. Talk about this robotics program.
Yeah, well, it incorporates mechanics and physics and electronics and working with computers, so it's a really good skeleton to hang knowledge on with all the components coming together.
Okay, all right. And so this is not your first rodeo, so to speak. You've been here many years, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so what are you hoping to get out of today's competition?
It's the same every year. I mean, the kids are all fresh faces every year. So it's basically we go through the same thing every year. And so it's not like we're having a second group of kids come in. And so we have to teach them the same skills over and over and over.
Okay, and it's a little bit loud. Can you kind of explain this environment to us?
Well, they have, it's not just robotics, it's also about marketing, it's about spirit, it's about sportsmanship. So this is just a small part of the whole competition. The kids did really well in their marketing presentations. They did really well on their marketing exhibit, and so whatever points we don't score here, we score in other areas.
Very good. All right, well, thank you for your time, and best of luck to you and your student team for the robotics competition today.
Thank you.
So what we're looking at is the Guamatron, which is basically a bunch of parts like plywood, a box filled with items like PVC pipe, screws, hardwood, irrigation valve cover, piano wire, a lot of junk that came in a box to your school. I'm standing here with the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy team, GWAMA, and this is their teacher, Josh Moore, and this is Aaron Valderas. I've nominated him to be our spokesman. Aaron, I'm going to let you introduce the rest of your team, okay? You take this and introduce everybody.
Okay. Well, this is Abiel Trevino, and this is Andrew, Hat. And then, well, what we basically did with our robot is do I just introduce him? And then like the robot, this is the brain, and like all the wires are hooked up to the brain, and they lead to all the motors, and then all the motors help move the robot. So we can do what we need to do to complete our task on the cores. As in flip the dials, move the hangers up and down onto the top of the PVC pipe, and be able to put the puzzle pieces on top of the little shapes on the cores.
Very good. So one of the components of this competition is working as a team together. So you came from Waco High to GWAMA, and so did two of your other teammates. Okay, and you're a senior. But then a couple of your teammates came from various surrounding schools.
As in McGregor, Clifton, and all surrounding schools. It's about 9 schools that all the teammates come from around.
Okay, okay, great. So this one team is representing a bigger part of Central Texas. Great. What's it been like working on a team like that?
It's actually pretty fun because we get to meet new people as we work on a robot or certain projects we work on, so we get to know each other really well.
That's great. And so how long did it actually take you all to build the Guamatron?
It took us about like 4.5 weeks, and then like another half a week to make adjustments to the robot, as in the wheels and the gears and all that.
And then once you get it built, then you have to do the computer part of the work, like programming it. What is that like?
It's really difficult because we had to program the brain to match our controls on our controllers so we can know what we're doing, so it'll make it way easier on us drivers so we can complete our tasks way better on the course.
Okay, and then you also have to make it look nice, and I think you also had to come up with the name, and I bet you get points for making it look so cool, because what people may not know is that Guamatron, this actually has your school's logo in it, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
How did y'all come up with this idea?
And most of us, we all had like a bunch of names that we came up with, and we all came up with this name because basically Tron is basically like where it has a bunch of computerized stuff, and the gears so we can know it's our school. And for Texas Robotic Orthopedic Network, which is based in an arm. So our robot's supposed to be an arm so we can complete our tasks.
Well, great. Well, congratulations. Great job, Aaron. Thank you for talking to us. I'd like to talk to Josh Moore. He's the teacher of the Guamatron robot team. What's your actual title at GWAMA?
I'm the math supervisor for the school.
Okay, I bet this is a lot of fun to teach and making math more fun for the students. Talk about that.
Well, a lot of math classes are very theoretical. It's hard to teach quadratics and teach these very theoretical concepts with just pen and paper. We can use robotics and we can teach those same concepts, but with a really cool tool and a really cool device.
And how have your students adapted to this? I mean, did it take them long to pick up doing this?
We had to go through how motors work, and we had to talk about specifically gears and how those things work. But once they got it, they just jumped on and went to town. It was great.
So you had about 6 weeks to put this thing together. Was that hard to do in 6 weeks?
Yes. It was, because of our school, we have so many different schools and school districts, a part of the team and a part of our school. It was hard to get everyone involved and everyone on the same page at all times. The main difficulty we had was communication between each student and between each team.
Well, you must be doing a good job, because when we first arrived here mid-morning, you were #1 in this competition.
Yeah.
Now it's like right after lunch, and you've slipped a couple of notches?
Yeah, we slipped a little bit, but we're not too worried. We're working on. We figured we've already made finals, and so we're working and practicing on the next stages in the competition. So when we go to finals, we'll be good to go.
Okay, so finals will be later in the day.
Yes, ma'am.
How many teams make it to finals?
There'll be 8 teams who make the semifinals, and then the top 4 of those teams will do another round of finals, and then around 5 o'clock we'll have the unveiling of the winner.
Okay, and then from there, if you're #1, then you go to?
I think the regionals competition was in Dallas.
In Dallas, great. Well, good job on your robot and your team and everything, and best of luck to you. Josh Moore with the Greater Waco Advanced Manufacturing Academy and his students, and the Guamatron.
30 seconds. 10 seconds. Start.
Incidentally, the BEST in Heart of Texas BEST stands for Boosting Engineering, Science, and Technology. And every school has a staging area where they work on their BEST robotics robot team. And we are here with Maximus Gatecrusher and the University High Trojan team. And I'm with Diego Laredo, he's a senior at University High School, and Lee Matthews, who is a freshman at University High School. We're going to talk to them about their experience in working on the University High School robot team. First of all, Diego, you've been doing this for 4 years. This is your last year of the robotics competition. Talk about what this experience has been like for you.
Well, first off, it's been a great experience because at first, when I joined this robotics team as a freshman, I thought like robotics, that's for nerds. It's not cool. It's not fun. Over the years, I've grown to love this competition. Now it changed my insight on robotics as a whole. Now I absolutely love this competition. I look forward to this every single year.
That is great. Okay, now we're standing here in your staging area, I guess, or your pit, so to speak. So this is your robot. You're not competing right now. Tell us what you're doing here with the robot.
Well, right now we're pretty much knocked out of the competition. We're making some adjustments earlier, like the wires, they got in the way a little bit. I just had to put them out of the way. But other than that, we didn't really make much adjustments in the pit area. There wasn't really much to fix.
Okay, so have you run into some problems today?
Yeah, the main problems we ran into was basically the people who drove the robot didn't have much practice, basically. We didn't have much experience because most of the drivers didn't have much experience driving the robot.
Okay, is that because like they're younger and inexperienced in doing it?
Yes, ma'am. Most of this team is comprised of new people. People who are new to this competition.
Okay, all right. Well, and that brings up Lee Matthews. Let's talk to you. You're a freshman, and what do you think about this?
Well, since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to either work on airplanes or be a robot scientist, in a way. And so when I got here, I was like, hey, why don't I do both? And so that's how I got on.
So have you enjoyed doing this?
So far, yes. It's been probably the most fun extracurricular activity I've done so far.
Okay, well, it doesn't really seem like an extracurricular activity because it takes a lot of brains and math and science to work on one of these.
Well, thanks to our colleagues over there, they make it a lot easier on us.
How so? How so?
Since they've been here before, they know what to do, and so they just kind of mentor me and they help me figure out what I need to do, how I need to do it, things of that nature.
Okay, now, this being your first year, do you think you're going to do this every year?
Yes, ma'am. There's no way I couldn't.
Okay, all 4 years, so we'll see you back here next year then.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. You know, it's great to see students getting so excited and to see all the spirit here and something that actually doesn't involve a ball. I mean, isn't that great?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, actually, it does involve a ball if your robot has to do one certain task, and what is that?
Yes. I don't know.
There is a ball in this competition, isn't there?
No.
Oh, there's not this year. Okay, well, what are some of the tasks that you have to do?
We have to we have to pick up something called transistors. We're flipping them and turning them. We're taking hangers and putting them on PVC pipes. And so it's just a lot of obstacles.
Wow. Okay, well, I noticed that your team came and grabbed your robot, so what does that mean?
Ma'am?
That your team came and grabbed your robot, so what does that mean?
That we're just, that part of the competition is over. So,
are you about to compete again?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, thank you for talking to us, and best of luck today in the competition.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
It's been fun being a part of this high-spirited, energetic competition. The best part about it is that it's free for all of the schools involved. The only thing that each student had to bring to the table is a brain and an imagination. Only 4 schools will get to advance to the final competition, the regional competition in Dallas. And as we leave you today, we'll show you who those 4 schools are. For Waco ISD TV, my name is Mary Center from the University High School Gymnasium, where there are learners today and leaders tomorrow.